Hey, what's up, y'all? This your man Pristine, back with another video. This is the Pristine review for the Alcatel Idol 4S Windows 10 version. Now, I picked up this phone from T-Mobile about a week ago today. And as I mentioned in the unboxing and impressions video, I was extremely reluctant to pick up this phone because of the fact that it's Windows 10. Not that I have an issue with Windows 10. I've never had a problem with any Windows 10 device. Okay. But the last Windows 10 mobile phone that I had, it was a good phone, but the problem was the Microsoft Store and the lack of apps that it possessed. And I just dealt with that until I couldn't deal with it any longer. The operating system was never a problem. It was just the lack of apps. And I think that that's one of the main reasons why Microsoft in the mobile department is people's least favorites, because a lot of apps that you can access on an iPhone or any Android phone, oftentimes you are not able to access on a Microsoft device. I'm glad I stepped out on a limb, and just having faith and confidence that in time, companies, they listen to the gripes of customers and they try to fix what people are saying issues are. And so I have to say that I'm extremely impressed with this device because Microsoft has made a lot of strides from the last phone that I had leading all the way up to this Windows 10 phone. The last Microsoft phone that I had was the Nokia Lumia 1520. It was a big 6-inch device. You guys know I like big phones. I got the red version. Red's my favorite color. And it was a good phone. The service, it was a breeze. It was buttery smooth. Apps and things loaded up quickly that I did have access to, but it was just the fact that there were so many apps that I was so used to having on my iPhones or my Android phones that I just could not access. And just after a while, it gets a little frustrating, and then you just kind of have to go back to another one of those other platforms. Now, just a brief history lesson real quick with the Alcatel Idol 4 and the 4S. This phone was originally released in the middle of 2016, but they were the Android versions. Okay. The Idol 4S was $399. The Idol 4 was $299. Again, differences. One was more budget friendly. The $399 one was the more premium one. The $299 variant, you didn't get the same screen resolution. You got a few megapixels less on the camera. You didn't get a fingerprint sensor, things of that nature. The Idol 4S Android version, you had the fingerprint scanner. You had a few more megapixels with the camera. I think you had a quad HD display rather than just a full HD display. Not to say that a full HD display is bad. But, with the more premium devices, they kind of beef up the features and the functionality and the specs. And I believe also in the processor was a little bit scaled down on the Idol 4 versus the more premium Idol 4S. So Alcatel, they thought that it would be a good idea to release a Windows 10 version of the Idol 4S. And I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they did. Again, as I mentioned, I was reluctant to get my hands on this device because of the fact that it's Windows you know what? Let me stop saying that. I don't want to say because of the fact that it's Windows, because of the lack of apps that you have access to in the App Store. So that was my reasoning. Now, again, I'm glad I picked up this phone. The App Store, it's got a major overhaul, and a lot of the apps that you used to not have access to, you now have access to. Now, I can't say that they're right on par with the App Store with iOS and the Play Store with Android, but they've come a long way, and they've made some very solid improvements. Now, just briefly before we get into the software, let's just go over the phone's cosmetics really quickly. And just go over the specs really quickly, because for $288 is what I paid for this at T-Mobile. Again, this Windows version was exclusive to T-Mobile. It came out at the end of 2016. I want to say November or December in 2016. So it hasn't been out that long. When it first came out, it was $469.99. Maybe they were having some issues with sales or whatnot, or maybe Alcatel just thought it would be, nice just to drop the price a little bit to try to boost sales. but they just recently dropped the price about a month and a half ago down to $288, which to me is a fantastic price. Let's go over the specs. You're getting a 5.5 Full HD AMOLED display. Doesn't have to be Quad HD. You're getting a Full HD AMOLED display. Color reproduction is absolutely gorgeous. You've got deep blacks, crystal clear whites. Colors are nice and vibrant as they ought to be. You're getting a Snapdragon 820 processor. You're getting 4 gigs of RAM. You're getting 64 gigs of onboard storage. You are getting a GPU of 530, and you are getting a pixel density, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the pixel density is 465 ppi. I could be wrong about that, but I know I'm somewhere in the ballpark. Okay. Now, the glass that is being housed on the front and back of this device is the Dragon Trail 2.5D glass. It's very durable. It's very durable. And as you can see, I mean, it has the knock unlock where you can tap it twice to unlock the screen. Now, when you want to wake the phone, you tap it twice anywhere on the screen. If you want to put the phone to sleep, down in the navigation bar, you just tap the navigation bar and it puts the phone right back to sleep. Okay, now we've got right here, bottom firing front-facing speaker, top firing front-facing speaker. Now, I know that on the Android versions of these devices, these two front-firing speakers were JBL certified speakers. I don't know if these are still JBL certified speakers, but they are being referred to as stereo speakers, and they sound just as good as the Android versions of the Alcatel Idol 4 and the 4S. So I have to say that this phone, the 4 and the 4S Android versions, along with the ZTE Axon 7, absolutely have to be the best sounding smartphones as far as audio, video playback because of these dual front firing speakers. They sound absolutely amazing. And the fact that they're front firing, you can hold the phone in landscape mode and you don't have to worry about your finger or your hand or your palm covering up the sound and muffling the sound. You're not going to get that experience because the sound is coming out directly at you. Okay. Now, front of the phone, you're getting an 8 megapixel front-facing selfie cam with a dual-tone LED flash, which works very well. It takes crystal clear photos. Having that flash, the camera already works really well in low light, but just having that front-facing flash is icing on the cake. This phone takes really good photos. Now, let's scale over to the right of the phone. To the right of the phone, you got the volume key up and down, and this button right here, which on the Android version of this phone was referred to as the boom key. This is no longer the boom key on the Windows 10 version. This on the Windows 10 version just simply acts as a camera button to launch the camera. So you see how the screen is locked? If you want to launch the camera, you just simply press that button and the camera just pops up. So that's your world star button. That's your if some shit hits the fan button and you just want to get to the camera real quick. You don't have to navigate through the phone or anything to get to the camera setting under the app. You just simply press that button right there. Sorry about that little bumpy cam. You press that button and it accesses the camera. Now, from what I've seen, there's no other you can't really customize this button to do anything else, which is a little bit of a bummer. Just because on the Android version of this phone, you can customize this button to also unlock the camera, but you can customize it to act as a home button. That's important because the button placement of this particular device, I don't think was engineered all that well. So like if you take a look at the volume rockers, okay? And this has been one of the main gripes with this phone. Not just this phone, but the Android versions as well. You got the volume keys right here, and then you've got a gap between the volume key and the key for the camera, or the boom key if you got the Android version of this phone. But then if you scale around to the left of the phone, then you've got the power and the sleep button right here at the top left of the phone, and then right here you got the SIM ejection tray where you can fit 2 nano SIMs. So it's a dual SIM setup that you can put in those dual SIM slots. Shout out to my man Flossie. slots. You crazy, bruh. So the button placement, in my opinion, is questionable. To me, that's the only gripe that I've got with this phone. So like if you look at the way I hold this phone, and my hands are pretty small, but I am comfortably able to get my hands around the phone, my thumb is resting on that camera button. You know, so look at where my fingers are. My index finger is on the back, the fingerprint sensor where it ought to be. But look at my other two fingers. So if I want to reach up, you know, to get to that sleep button, it no longer becomes a one-handed experience. You know, I have to reach up with my other hand and press that button because, for one, it's so high up. And, you know, I just think that they should have put that button down here and then maybe put the boom key or the camera button on the left side, you know, or just had all the buttons all on one side. I mean, so that your thumb is already resting on the phone when you're holding it like that. And you can just boom, 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 just kind of navigate with your thumb and press, you know, whatever buttons that you want to press. So that's really the only gripe that I've got about this phone. I mean, you know, and that's just the cosmetic thing. I mean, you know, I like the way this phone it looks. I mean, the black, the gold metal or aluminum trim all around the phone. Now on this version, it's gold. On the Android versions, it's a silver, metal, or aluminum. It still looks really nice. I mean, that black and gray, I mean, it looks dope. But this black and gold looks good as well. And so as you can see, I've got my clear coated Incipio case on the phone because this phone is cosmetically beautiful. And since I've had this phone, you know, it's a head turner. You know, so it's like when I'm talking on it or I'm texting, I mean, I want it to be seen. I don't want to put a black case on it so people can't see what the phone looks like. I mean, it's a very good looking phone. I mean, a lot of people have asked me about this phone just by looking at it. So bottom of the phone, we've got noise canceling microphone. We've got a Type-C USB connector that supports Quick Charge 3.0. And I went from 0 to 100 in about 45 minutes. Battery life is great. I haven't had the phone die on me once. Now, that's not contradictory to what I just said. When I first take these phones out of the box, I don't put them on the chargers. I turn them on, I customize them, and I let the battery drain all the way down to 0. And then what I'll do is I'll put it on the charger and time it to see how far it goes from 0 or how fast it goes from 0 to 100. So with the exception of that first initial charge, I have not had to charge this phone again just because the battery died, especially when I was out and about. I'm in the medical field. I work 12-hour shifts. And so on my days on, when I'm on my rotation, I work 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So typically I'm leaving my home at about 5:50 or 6 o'clock a.m., which is when I'm taking my phone off of the charger. I clock out at 7:30 p.m. and still got 60 to 65% of battery life. You know, and that's with moderate usage. If I'm heavy using, maybe 45 or 50% of battery life. Not bad. There's battery optimizations that you can do. You can cut down the brightness. You can make sure that things that you're not using, such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and location, are cut off, you know, to help you optimize your battery so you're not just draining your battery unnecessarily. So yeah, I mean, the battery is solid on this phone. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Now, to the back of the phone, we've got the 21 megapixel Sony lens camera, fingerprint sensor, dual tone LED flash, Alcatel branding, Idol 4S branding on the bottom. Okay. This phone is absolutely gorgeous. I feel the same way about this phone like I felt about the Alcatel Idol 4 and the 4S. Again, nothing's really changed other than the operating system and, you know, some of the usability of the boom key. Or well, I guess I can't refer to it as the boom key on this particular version because that's not what it is. It's just a dedicated camera button, which is okay. Now again, double tap to wake the screen. It says your device is having trouble recognizing you. Make sure your sensor is clean. Oh, okay. So it's talking about the fingerprint sensor. The fingerprint sensor, I mean, it works. As you see that. See that? try one more time. Put your finger on it, just barely tap it, and it works. Now, when I first set it up, I mean, I kind of felt like it was shaky, but then the more I played with it, then I think I was either, I didn't have my finger on it flush. You know, it's definitely not one of those fingerprint sensors where it's like the OnePlus 3 or the Honor 8 by Huawei, you know, where you can just barely tap it, you know, and boom, it just opens the screen. This one, you gotta set your finger on it. You know what I mean? You gotta leave a print on it to read, you know, and then it will open the screen. So the fingerprint sensor is not a problem. I mean, it's consistent. It's as consistent as it needs to be. So I'm glad about the fact that it is present. Now, again, as I mentioned, you've got the knock on, navigation bar down here. If you want to just put the phone to sleep, double tap the navigation bar to put the phone to sleep. Okay, let's go ahead and open it back up. Now, let's breeze through the OS a little bit. Okay, Snapdragon 820, 4 gigs of RAM, solid performer. Okay, buttery smooth. I couldn't get this phone to lag even while I was trying to get it to lag. Okay. Now, really quickly. Now, you just saw that when I scroll down, this is your notification bar. Oh, didn't mean, we don't want to go to Facebook. Let's get out of that. Okay. So we'll close out of that. Okay. Now scroll down. And these are your quick toggles: flashlight, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all settings. Then what you can do is you hit expand, and then it takes you to more of your toggles. And so top left, you've got Note, which that launches the OneNote app. I mean, anybody that's familiar with Windows 10, OneNote is their note-taking app, things where you can make lists, you know, jot down certain things, you know, different bits and pieces of information. That's what OneNote is. You've got location, camera, quiet hours. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's like a sleep mode. Okay. Brightness right there, as you can see. I mean, I've got the phone on 40%, and you've seen just the color reproduction from the home screen, how vibrant those colors are, you know. So, and I've had it on 40% ever since I got the phone. I have not had to adjust the volume or the brightness whatsoever. You've got Connect, and so this phone and the HP Elite X3 are the only two Windows 10 devices, so I'm told, that has the Microsoft Continuum option. And as I mentioned in the unboxing video, the Continuum is a separate it's a separate adapter that you plug into the Type-C adapter, and then on the other end of the adapter it has a USB port that you can plug into any TV monitor, computer monitor, whatever. And you can turn it into a full-blown Windows 10 device, all powered from the cell phone here. So if you're a businessman, a businesswoman, you work with a lot of spreadsheets, you need to access Microsoft, the Microsoft suite, which is, you know, Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, all those things. You can do that, and you can turn this phone into a full-blown Windows 10 computer on any monitor, anywhere. Okay, or if you just like Windows 10 and you just like to have that functionality, you've got it with this device. Okay. That is a dope, attractive feature, especially for the price that you're paying for this thing with the specs. And let's not talk about that, and let's not forget about the fact that along with this package as well, you're also getting a VR as well that comes with it. So that was another attractive feature, you know, with the Alcatel Idol 4 and the 4S when it, you know, the Android versions, when it launched back in 2016, it came with the VR headset. For the price, you're talking about bang for your buck. So consider this. All those options that I read off, $288 price point at T-Mobile and a VR headset. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. You know, come on, man. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Okay. So, let's go to the settings real quick. So we'll just hit collapse on that. Go to all settings. Now I have to say that customizing this phone has to be, for me, it was one of the most complicating things to do once I got the phone out of the box. But once I learned where everything was, then it was easy to navigate through and find things. And I'm one of those types of guys to where if I don't know how to do something, I can just see it once or do it once, and I'll always know how to do it and how to undo it. You know what I'm saying? Now that may not be, that's how I learn. You know, that may not be for everybody, but that's how I get down. Now you can see there's not a long list of apps or not a long list of settings, right? So this list of settings looks pretty slim. But the thing is, when you open up each one of these apps, then it's chock full of things to do to customize this phone. So what I mean when I say that this phone, I don't want to say that it's not user friendly, but it doesn't really make it plain and clear where everything is. Even like with this, like you got system, devices, network and wireless, personalization, accounts, time and language, ease of access, privacy, update and security, and extras, right? You may go into one of these and, you know, it's telling you right there, oh, okay, well, under system, it says display, notifications, and battery. So you know that you're going to get on those things. But when you open it, there's certain things that you may want to do, and it doesn't really make it clear where those things are once you tap on one of these, you know, system options. So I really had to spend some time with this phone to really customize it. You know, it's not like the Android experience where, you know, everything is pretty much the same. And I've got so many Android phones. It's like I know exactly where to go to do any kind of customization. You know what I mean? Different operating system here. So you're going to have some, you know, you have to spend some time with this to try to figure out where everything is. But once you get it, then it's not a problem. You know, it's not a problem at all whatsoever. Let's go back into it. So yeah, so that's that. Now, again, here's your home screen. This is where all your apps are kept. Now, one thing I will say, let's take a look at the store real quick, because the store didn't used to look like this. So the store has gotten an overhaul, and I mean, it looks really good, and you have a lot more access to apps that, you know, you didn't have access to before. So it's good, again, to see that Microsoft is really listening to the customers and really giving people what they want. Now, you know, here's the search bar right there. So if there's an app that you want to search for, you just click on that and type it in. And if it's on the store, it'll pop up. If it's not, let me show you what you can do to get the app. Okay. It's a good thing about having Windows 10, because this is just like a full Windows 10 computer right in your pocket. You see my KeyBank app right here? Let's see. Let's click on my little folder here. You see my little Best Buy app right there? I'm just going to use those two apps as examples. Those apps are not in the Microsoft Store. So what I had to do to get them is I had to go to Microsoft Edge, which anybody that knows Windows 10 knows that Microsoft Edge is Windows 10's browser. So you go to the browser, and then I'll just use bestbuy.com since I was playing around with this not that long ago. So let's just say if I was looking up a Best Buy app in the store and it wasn't there, type up Best Buy in the search bar, which it's already on there. And then what you do is these three little dots right here where my thumb is, you click on that, and then you see right here where it says pin this page to start. You hit that. This Windows button is your home button that takes you back to your home screen. Boom. Best Buy app right there. That's how I got my KeyBank app right here. That's how I got my OfferUp app right here. And OfferUp is just a platform where you can sell devices or sell pretty much whatever you want to. My Credit Karma app right here. That's how I got that app. So again, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick, because don't think that just because you look for an app in the App Store and you're not able to find it, don't think that you're not able to get it on the phone. With the Windows 10 phones, and you may be able to do this on Android phones too. I just haven't had to try it that way because all the apps are in the App Store. But if you run into a situation like that, I mean, on the Windows phone, then you can just go into the search bar, type it up, pull up the web page, the actual web page, not a mobile app, but the actual website, and then just save it to your start screen, and it just creates the app right there for you. So that when you click on the app, you're not going to a mobile app, you're going straight to the desktop version. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. Just to be able to have that. Sorry about that, y'all. Got disconnected somehow. But yeah, so again, don't get discouraged if you're searching through the store, the Microsoft store, and you don't find an app, because there are other ways where you can get the app. Okay. Now, again, just for me, overall performance of this phone has been nothing short than stellar. You know, the apps, I mean, they're nice and quick when they open up. Everything is buttery smooth. Even when I've tried to get this phone to lag, it won't lag, it won't stutter, which is good, which is a very good thing. But you see, I've got my folders. I've got the same apps in the folders that I've got on my Android devices. I've got them in the same exact order on this phone. But obviously, you know, we're dealing with a different operating system, so it looks a little different. But you'll see, like with the folders that I've created, if you want to access the folder, you just tap on it, and then all the applications that are within that folder, they pop down here. If I want to bring the folder back up, then I just tap on that little arrow, and it just brings everything back up into its normal perspective. So, you know, let's see. Here's Microsoft Office. And you see we got Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Maps, OneNote. Tap on that. This is the Tools app, where we've got the clock, calculator, File Explorer, OneDrive, and Tips. Tap on that. My YouTube Studio, my mobile news. We got CNET, Engadget, Flipboard. You know, I get a lot of information just from those 3 platforms right there. My benchmarks, my Geekbench, Geekbench 4, CPU Z. My photos, Netflix, ESPN, Zedge, Car Gurus, Fandango. Yeah, I mean, you get the gist. And then, let's see, got email, there's this Microsoft Store, news. And then down here is where you can access, let's see, phone, messaging, camera, and then your contact list right there. Now, where it says all apps, this is basically like Microsoft's version of an app drawer. So when you click on that, then it brings up all the apps that are installed on the phone, and they're in alphabetical order. Okay. Okay, now if you don't feel like scrolling down, you can just click on the search bar right there, type in the name of the app, and it'll take you directly to the app if it's on the phone. If it's not on the phone, then it'll redirect you to the Microsoft Store, where if the app is available, you can download it. If it's not available, you may not be able to download it, or you can go to that, go to Microsoft Edge, which is Windows 10's browser, and try to pull the app up that way and create the app and just pin it to your start page. Navigation keys, back button right there, which is that little arrow. The Microsoft button right there, that's your home key. And then we've got the search button right there to search for different apps on your home page. Now, if you want to get rid swiping away apps is very simple. You just hold the arrow down right there, and then it's just kind of like the iPhone. So all the apps that you have open, they're going to be in this little side view right here, and you just swipe them down to get rid of them. And then it takes you right back to your home screen. And so again, I mean, let's see. I know there was something that happens when you swipe up. Oh, okay, yeah. So the navigation buttons, if you don't want those on the screen, you just swipe up. Or you can swipe up to bring them on the screen, or you can swipe up to take them off the screen, which gives you a little bit more screen real estate. So that's a nice little touch right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Alcatel Idol 4S Windows 10 version. Like I said, my personal usage has been nothing less than stellar. Call quality is amazing, especially with those dual front firing speakers. I mean, you know, the voices on the other end, they sound really clear. Listening to music, listening to YouTube videos, or watching movies. I don't watch movies, but I mainly just stream on YouTube. Everything just sounds amazing. Again, it comes with the VR headset, which I'm not really a big fan of VR, but I will give it a try at some point. But I think that is, you know, a nice touch to include in the box for everybody that does like to indulge in a VR experience. Again, it's got very, very solid battery life. Quick charge 3.0, so it's going to charge up very swiftly if you need to charge up if your battery dies. Excellent build quality, excellent cameras. I mean, what more can I say about this phone? I mean, you know, $288, Snapdragon 820, 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, Full HD AMOLED display, dual front-firing stereo speakers, excellent build, beautifully crafted, looks good cosmetically, great front-facing and rear cameras. I mean, I just don't let Windows 10 be the reason as to why you don't give this phone an opportunity. They've made a lot of strides with the service. And, you know, one thing I want to, you know, inform you guys on is, you know, I do this to give you guys information about phones, but not just that, to also give you guys, you know, to let you guys know that you guys have options. And, you know, to not fall into these traps from these major, you know, carriers into thinking that you have to have, a $700 to $1,000 device to have a great smartphone experience. Those days are behind us. So I do this just to get the information through to you guys so that you guys can make an informed decision on what you want to spend your money on, but also let you know that, hey, you got options. You know, you don't have to go and break the bank, you know, to get a great smartphone experience. $288 right now at T-Mobile gets you this phone with all these specs and a virtual reality headset that comes in the box. I mean, you're talking about bang for your buck. It doesn't get any better than that right now. Now, another thing too, really quickly before I close out the video, is I've got on a couple of forums because I heard some things that people have gotten this phone from T-Mobile only to find out that it's GSM unlocked. So there's been some people that have gotten this phone that have taken their T-Mobile SIM card out of it and they've popped in an AT&T SIM card and it worked flawlessly. So I haven't tried that yet. I will try it because I'm curious to know whether or not, you know, if this is GSM unlocked and maybe this is just something that T-Mobile is unaware of, or maybe they are aware of it and they're just not saying anything about it. But I mean, if this phone is GSM unlocked, then that just makes it more of an attractive purchase, in my opinion. Because I mean, it's being sold exclusively at T-Mobile. Now you can now T-Mobile is selling this phone for the cheapest price. They're selling it right now for $288. You can get this phone on Amazon, but at Amazon it's $469.99, which it's still not a bad price, you know, considering the specs and everything that you're getting in the bundle. You know, so with taxes you're going to be over $500, but I still don't think that that's a bad price considering everything that you're getting with this particular package. But if you can get this in its entirety for $288, I mean, I think with taxes I paid like $320 and some change. I mean, that is crazy. You can also get this at the Microsoft Store. It's also being sold on the Microsoft Store. I don't believe it's in the stores, but you can get it. You can order it from their online service, and it's being sold for $470. So the T-Mobile route is going to be the cheapest route, and it's like, if you can get this package for $300, why not? Why not? You know what I mean? So that's all I got, y'all. Pristine review, Alcatel Idol 4S Windows 10 variant. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I was reluctant because of the lack of apps that are in the Windows Store. They've made a lot of improvements. And again, if it's not in the store, I showed you how you can get the app on your phone. Aside from that, I mean, everything just works flawlessly. So again, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. definitely, give this phone a shot. I would recommend it to anybody. This is actually my favorite phone right now. I'm so glad that I picked it up. What I was going to say was, as a reviewer, again, don't take my word for it with these phones. Get your hands on them, because my experience is going to be different from your experience. If I ever slam a phone, don't let what I say about the phone be the determining factor as to why you do not get the phone, because you may get the phone and have a totally different experience. Again, just us reviewers, we're doing this to put the information about these phones out there, just to kind of give you guys a heads up on what you're getting yourself into. But again, it really boils down to, the experiences that you have with the device. I would recommend any and everybody try this phone out. If you're not feeling it, you've got 14 days to return it. But you're getting this package, you're getting the VR headset, all these specs, dope cameras, front firing speakers, AMOLED display, Windows 10. Come on, man. Full Windows 10 computer right here in your pocket, all for $288. You're not going to find that deal anywhere. This is a ridiculous deal. I just couldn't pass it up. I walked away from it a couple times and I just couldn't do it no more. I couldn't do it no more. I had to jump on, and I'm glad that I did. So again, hope you guys like this video. If you do, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you have not subscribed and you would like to subscribe to expose yourself to my video catalog and much more content like this, please hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be videos like this that I've already done, and there's going to be much more to come. So you guys stay tuned in. Much love and appreciation to all my people that have subscribed. I appreciate you guys, and I pray that you guys continue to rock with me. Excuse me. Until the next video, y'all, you already know. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Always keep God first in your lives. And definitely, you already know. Say it with me. Say it with me. Definitely damn, I can't even talk. Definitely stay pristine. Pristine. Until the next video, y'all. Peace. Alcatel Idol 4S Windows 10 version. Go cop that. Go cop that. T-Mobile, $288. Don't pass it up. Peace.